Hello, everyone. This is our third installment of our Mother's Day Proverbs Woman Bible study. We're just picking up where we left off, and so we'll just go ahead and resume that right now.
What do you think about this? She brings her food from afar. Is that good food, or I didn't look into this part, so I didn't really think about
can't
it.
say I really have. The only thing I can think of is I go to the store. I go to the grocery store to get my food.
You drive all the way to Rowlett, so
a lot of it probably
your
is
food
shipped
afar.
from overseas, unfortunately too. But
yeah. So we're biblical. No, I'm guessing this is the idea. I'm sure even this idea way back then that Jesus said a prophet is not respected in his hometown. Things that are from far away, they're good, right? Ideas that are from far away, those are the correct ideas. We do this a lot right now. Anything that's new is a good idea. Anything that's old is a bad idea, right? We're very progressive. Oh no, my baby wants to drink my coffee.
it's empty, so
That's fine, as long as he doesn't throw it against the wall. I think that's what they're saying here is that she's going through effort to get the food, and it's good.
Yeah.
And it's good food. She's making sure she gets the best food for her family. So what does it mean? Does it mean she has to get the best food for her family? Does she have to get food for her family? Could the man go get the food sometimes? Could he get it most of the time? I think so. What is it saying? She works hard.
she works hard for her family.
For her family. Her family is her business. That, and like I said before, that is the most important business.
And here's the thing about that. Whatever needs to be done, a godly man and woman are going to get the job done.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think, and just to be honest, we're talking about this hard work, and that, like I said, this is countercultural, but we are demanded in this life. We're under a curse. That is the way we are. I think God, it's a blessing when we're made to work. I feel like I was created to create. I'm an artist, and if I don't create, I feel disconnected from myself. I feel very strange because God made me to create things, and I have to be like my Father, and I have to live out the way my Father made me like Him, and so there is that. I do have to work. I think we were intended to work, but also we're under a curse that we have to live by the sweat of our brow, and when we stop sweating, we stop living. And in this country, I think retirement is a good thing, but I think that we were intended to work. That's why so many people, they're doing really good. They could be very advanced in age and years, and very mentally healthy, and then they retire and they relax too much, and then they start sinking quick, like at an alarming rate. It happens to many people. It happens to a lot of people that I actually know. I've watched it happen. I've watched it happen to people I care about. And I don't think we were intended to do nothing. So when we retire, my wife says this too, that you should apply yourself to something else. Maybe that dream job, that passion you have, serving God. But don't just sit at home and watch The Price is Right. To use that old expression, right? Because that's what elderly people like to do, right? I don't know. According to Pastor, they also like to eat at Luby's. Hey. And so I think we were meant to work. Verse 15, she also rises while it is yet night and provides food for her household and a portion for her maidservants. You booger.
What was that part in the Bible? It was it Isaac and Rebecca, a bride for Isaac, and he said.
In what
Forgive me if
context?
I'm getting this all mixed up, but he was looking for a wife, and he said, "The one at the well that offers me water for my donkeys, that's the one."
That's pretty good.
Okay. Versus somebody who's, obviously there's characteristics in that she's giving, she's offering help, she's
Yeah.
willing to work.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what he's looking for. Obviously, not a workhorse. Like,
No, yeah,
I just need a wife to come be my slave.
Yeah.
That's not what we're talking
think
about
so.
here. But we're talking about assuming he's obviously working hard too, and we expect that out of men as well as women. And so the idea is like, well, men, they work hard to provide for their families. Well, what does a woman do? Is she supposed to just sit at home and send her kids to school and then not do anything? Or
And I think
no, I don't believe so. She's supposed to work hard as well.
I think 2 bits of context. This baby is going wild here. So I think 2 bits of context here. 2 bits of context here is okay. That is not gonna work. 2 bits of context here. For one thing, if you have to interpret the Bible through the whole Bible, and so women are, it's like saying women have to work hard. They have to do all this stuff. They have to get up early and start working. It's not like misogynistic. Like, you have to read the whole Bible, and the Bible says that every one of us is to have a servant's heart. That means the men too, men included. And so maybe our job is in a different sphere. Maybe, if you're a family like ours, and like I said, I never told my wife she couldn't work. She could go work right now. I think I prefer it this way, but I've never, and like I said, this might be unbiblical the way I'm doing it. I hope not, but I've always let her make decisions like that. But because if that was her real passion, I would try to find a way to make that work. But the point is, even though we're working in different spheres, the Bible says that I'm supposed to be humble. I'm supposed to be a servant. I'm supposed to get up early. I'm supposed to work hard. And not just for my family. A lot of times men are charged to be humble and servants to the most wretched people a Christian man is, and the most arrogant people who don't care about you. So if my wife gets up and works hard for her children and for me, that's a good blessing, because I might have to get up and work hard for somebody who would spit on my grave, who deliberately hates me, who doesn't care one bit about me or my family. But I'm still to humble myself for them as well. So this is not just a misogynistic verse. And then I think the second thing I would say,
one of the things my mind goes to now also is, getting up in the middle of the night to feed the baby.
That's interesting. Okay, and the other thing I guess I would say is that, as far as context, is once again, this is not a list of exact, it's about your heart. The all of the commands from God, you can't find a way to kind of snake your way through and around them. They're not that simple. They're not just a list of do's and don'ts. Like I said, you can't just avoid physically grabbing someone and stabbing them repeatedly and say, oh, I'm a good person, I did it. What is the state of your heart? And the same thing for here. Is it have to be about food? I don't think so. I think it's, are you providing for your family? And I think it goes for males as well. So that would be what I would say about that. But I feel like there's a lot of things that a woman could add to this, because I think a lot of women have a lot of opinions on these verses.
I like what we were talking about earlier, when you mentioned that a long time ago there's probably a lot more preparation that went into food preparation.
Yeah. You couldn't just turn on the stove. You had to build a fire.
Yeah, or pour a bowl of cereal, which I do that a lot. I feel guilty because I should probably feed my kids healthier, but when you're up breastfeeding a baby all night, then you get up in the morning, and I'll say this too, I don't get up when it's still dark outside. I've considered doing that before, and I used to more before I had 4 kids. And I've been about 10 years now without a good solid night's sleep. I'll just say that. Because I wake up regularly in the middle of the night, not just for providing food.
I think he actually hit himself with my coffee cup.
That's not the main thing.
He's not gonna let up. He's gonna need some mama.
Anyways, so I'm waking up in the middle of the night a lot, and it's not always It's usually not because I'm waking up way ahead of time to start preparing food. I'm one of those moms who, I'm just like, pour a bowl of cereal. But there are many other things that I wake up in the middle of the night for. Sometimes it's just my body clock, or maybe the Holy Spirit is waking me up at like 3 a.m. And, used to, that would kind of frighten me. Like, why am I wide awake? When I was a very young, I was early in motherhood. I had one baby. And this was a new thing for me to wake up at 3 a.m. And I was like, why am I always awake? What's wrong with me? And it's easy to just grab your phone and start scrolling, or just toss and turn, or whatever the case may be. But I started praying, and that really seems to make a difference in my family. When I'm, that's my go-to now, is if I wake up and I can't go back to sleep, I'll just start praying. And sometimes specifically over our family and my kids, I'll go to their rooms and I'll lay my hands on the door and I'll just pray over them. Or if I think I can get away with it, I'll even go in the room and I'll pray in the room. But also, getting up to feed the baby for, people who have babies. And even beyond those years when they're toddlers, or, we have a 4-year-old and he still wakes up in the middle of the night. And I know I've talked to many moms who say the same. They're like, yeah, my kid, he's still, he's 5, 6, 7. He still wakes up and comes to my room, and they need that comfort. Various reasons. They need their mom.
Yeah, and it's mom. It's mom they're looking for. They're not looking
that's
for
right.
dad.
That's exactly right.
And that's just a job that you never clock out from. There
don't.
are a few of those kinds of jobs, and a mother is one of those. There's just the demand on their bodies and on their time, and it's just what an incredible thing to have a mother. They're so devoted to you. I'm so thankful. I just messaged my mom today for Mother's Day and sent her cards and everything, and I'm just told her that I thank God for her, because I really do. I mean, what a blessing.
I think it's easier to feel thankful for your mother once you have kids of your own, because now I have 4 kids, and I appreciate my mother so much more. When she comes to visit, I'm just like, that's my mom. I love you. Thank you. I never knew all the things that you did for me behind the scenes, like I was talking about.
It becomes very
waking
real.
up in the middle of the night, just to. I used to think my mom was silly when I was a teenager, and she would let me, go out for a while, and she would always be waiting up for me. And I would think, why didn't she just go to bed? She needs to sleep. Why, But I get it now. You never stop worrying over your kids and praying over them and taking care of them.
Yeah. I probably wouldn't have. I definitely am aware that you do all that, and that they are constantly making demands of you. But I probably wouldn't have read that into the verse. I mean, it's like from a male's perspective, I wouldn't have thought of that. But I think that's interesting to get your perspective.
And if you I don't want to take the verse out of context or anything, but to me, when I read the very first line of that verse, she also rises while it is yet night. My mind gets stuck there. Because I don't wake up at the crack of dawn, or even before that, to start preparing food for my family. Maybe I should. Maybe we would have healthier meals then. Which, I mean, I think we fairly healthy, but it's just not the culture that we live in anymore. We have all these faster ways of preparing food. But even though we have those faster ways of preparing food, we're still waking up in the night to take care of our family.
That's right. But yeah, and I think that's kind of the spirit of the verse. I'm gonna roll with that. Okay. I mean that, like I said, your job's never done as a parent. I would say that, yeah, we have so many modern conveniences, machines that wash the clothes for us, machines that dry the clothes, machines that
Wash the
I wish they
dishes.
had machines that folded the clothes, but
I think they do now.
I would rather. I don't. I'm not know about that. I'm not say I'd rather wash the clothes than fold them, but folding is like, God, I don't know. It's almost like it's not enough of something to be something that it's just like a nuisance. But anyway, I don't want to.
They do have folding machines now, I believe.
I will just say that. I will just say that yes, our roles in humanity change over time because of our progress, and I think that's a gift from God. So I don't think it's like we're undermining God, but I think that's the spirit of it, is that we're supposed to be working hard to provide for our families, and I think one of the reasons that being a mother gets a bad rap is because we can set our lives up so that the mother has nothing to do whenever if your kids go off to public school and then and you have a machine that washes your clothes, and you have a machine that dries your clothes, and you have a machine that vacuums, and you have a machine that
you've decided to be a stay-at-home mom because your husband, he makes enough income.
And then you. I'm not saying there's nothing to do.
have to
I'm sure you
work.
could always find something to do, but it's almost stupid to kind of push yourself. You would think, that's what it would feel like. I think it's like, well, now I don't have anything to do. Now I'm worthless. I could see where so many mothers get this idea that, oh, I should go out into the world and get a career because of these things. But I don't think.
Well, I don't think it's just that. I think it's the way a lot of people act about it, or maybe it's just it may even just be a perceived thing. That, well, you're not making money, and we put such an emphasis on money.
Yeah.
And as a mom who's staying at home, well, you're doing all this work, but you're not generating any income, and so you don't see the fruits of your labor for a long time. A lot of times, because you're teaching your kids, you're cleaning the house, you're doing whatever it is. And I'm talking about, even if you have a full-time job, I'm talking about all mothers and fathers, the work at home that you do in your off hours, if that's your full-time, it doesn't matter. We put such an emphasis on the success at work. And did you get to be the senior manager or the director or the
what kind of title do you have?
Manager or whatever? What kind of title do you have? Are you making the big bucks? Like, do you have the six-figure? Do you have the latest, nice car or whatever? Society puts such an emphasis on that I think that people who stay-at-home mothers especially, start to feel like their value has been diminished because society's putting such emphasis on that being success and that being great, and we're sitting here it's grueling work day to day. Not that I don't
It's not glamorous.
Exactly. I love that I get to stay home with my kids, and I know many people who are just like, man, I wish that I didn't have to work outside the home. I want to be able to stay home with my kids. You're lucky, and don't take it for granted. And I definitely don't. Obviously, I chose this route for a reason. I never, from the time I had my very first kid, I was like, I can't fathom putting them in daycare, and so I know that has to be so hard.
I know during the pandemic, I really just enjoyed the time I was able to spend with our youngest child and with all the kids. I mean, what a blessing. It was actually kind of hard for me to go back because I really do see this as the fundamental work. Your first ministry, your first priority is to your family. Those are going to be the people that are around you the most, that have the most influence. You have the most influence on. There's a huge portion of their lives where they look to you for everything. And so you have, what an opportunity, like just to kind of bring this around to closing, to bring it back full circle. Kingdoms, civilizations are shaped by mothers. And right now we're downplaying mothers in our society. And look how our society is falling.
When mothers don't feel valued, they're gonna go out and try to get that value, and they're gonna go out and try to get that job and get that title because they want to feel like they're of some value to what everybody's doing. It's just so easy. I just can't say it enough how I've felt that way myself. And I think Satan really he works on us.
Oh yeah.
You can't listen to the lies and that's one of the biggest ones I think that he's perpetrating.
And the Bible is always going to be proven right. It always is. Anytime somebody opens their mouth and says, well, this city didn't actually exist, we found no evidence, and then like a month later they'll find evidence of it. So all an archaeologist has to do is open his mouth about how the Bible is wrong, and then they're going to find the place that we're looking for. But it does that in every aspect. And so even from a secular point of view, is the mother unimportant? If there is, looking at things, say you don't believe in God, is the mother unimportant? Then can you go and put career first and say that's the most important thing? Well, no matter what part of the political spectrum you're on, what a booger. No matter what part of the political spectrum on, whatever president you like or don't like, just remember their mother had a hand in shaping that person, which shapes the policies that run your life. So if you want your children to grow up with your values and you're shaping the reality around you. It may take a while, you may not see it right away. And our babies are going crazy. This is proof that we know what we're talking about, that we are actually parents. So we couldn't even make this video like this, but I do want to close on that, I guess. And I thank my wife for all the insights. That wacky baby. What are you? You want to be on the video? You just want your mama back, don't you? We took him from his mom too long. So for all you mothers out there, happy Mother's Day. Thank you for all the grueling, tough, dedicated work that you do. You all are amazing, and you work such a thankless job. It's the most important job, the most impactful job, the job that any man's job is just there to supplement what you're doing. We go out, if you have a circumstance like ours, obviously these corporations own all the media, and the media tells you that mothers are unimportant and that careers are important. And they've also set it up that we need both parents to work just to be able to survive, when it didn't used to be that way. It's very convenient, but in reality, a mother's job is the most important job. And the only reason I leave the home is so I can bring money back to help fund what my wife is doing, right? My job at where I work, when I go out, let's just say, like, from an art point of view, I think God gave me art, and I think God gave me art, and I think He speaks through it, but I think there's no way that my art is important as raising the next generation of humans the way God wants us to raise them. And so thank you all for your hard work, this thankless work.
Yeah.
Not only do people not give you
Credit.
the credit for what you're doing, but they actually even undermine it and say it's valueless. But I'm here to tell you it's not true. You're not getting the credit here. And in the Bible, it says that when you do work here and you get all your credit and your rewards here, you've already got your reward. And so you mothers, it's such a thankless job. I know that your work is so important and so hard and so thankless that your reward must be incredible in heaven. So keep up the good work, mothers. I know, like I said, as a former child, I'm so thankful for my mother. I thank God for my mother. So happy Mother's Day. And by the time you see this, it won't be Mother's Day anymore, but every day should be Mother's Day. I will see you back again to continue out a verse by verse study of this. And I will see you then.
Happy Mother's Day.
Just take your whole space.
A chip on my shoulder.
Yeah, it's just me, and then you're like over at the edge, like, hey.
We should switch earrings. You wear my pearl, and I wear your screw.
Yeah, I think so. Okay.
My holes are too little though.
You don't know what you're trying to
I
say.
forgot what I was saying. I do ramble.
We can just edit that part out. And
that'll conclude this portion of the Bible study on the Proverbs woman. I decided to split this up into about 20-minute increments for easier consumption. So I'll see everyone next time. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing. You can also watch the other videos on this playlist to continue and finish this Bible study.